what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Mike Kid, and we back again with another video. As you guys can see, I got company with me. I got my nephew right here.
Yo.
And I got my other nephew right here.
What's up?
Yo, all right, yo. I thought they was gonna say their names. All right, I guess they not. All right.
Well, I'm Lennox.
This is Lilo.
You're irrelevant.
And that's Glenn, my brother over there.
Yeah, and he's holding, I think that's Melody. All right, today, first, wait, before we start, happy Thanksgiving to everybody watching. I hope y'all throwing, I hope your moms, your father, whoever's in the kitchen, I hope they throwing down. Getting that food ready. You know, Mama Dukes is there right now. She throwing the fuck down. It smells good in there, right?
Yeah.
It smells good in there, right? Yeah, yo. All right, so, yeah, today we're going to be reacting to another Hood Nature. I see he changed his name on YouTube to Casual Geographic. I like Hood Nature better, but it's all good. We're going to be reacting to 10 horrible ways animals can end you. This is a 21-minute long video, guys. So, let's do it. If you like the video, like that shit.
And leave a like on the video.
Thank you.
And
subscribe.
And subscribe.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about. All right, guys, let's get into the video. If I can fucking play it.
I think you were safe just because Halloween's over. This video was actually supposed to be posted on Halloween, but I don't even have an excuse. It just be like that. Not much of an intro this time, so here's 10 horrible ways animals can put your autobiography in the history section. Not necessarily in order, but it does get brutal, so I'm going to do something I've never done before. Viewer discretion is very much advised. That's the only warning you're going to get. When that music starts, it's up.
Lilo,
Also, I kind of owe y'all more Halloween content, so if this gets a certain number of likes, I'll do a part 2. All that aside, let's get to the content.
Hey, what you doing?
When you think of some of the apex predators on the planet, you might think of heavyweights like lions, bears, crocodiles, and of course you got the biggest bully in the ocean. Not the seal, but the killer whale dragging it. But what you probably don't think of is a prehistoric steroid gecko found in only remote islands in the world. And that's exactly what makes the Komodo Dragon one of the most underrated killers on the planet. This homicide lizard can grow to 10 feet long, weigh nearly 200 pounds, and swim, and can run faster than your mental health is prepared for. This video isn't sped up, but the most lethal thing about them is something you can't see. The Komodo Dragon has up to 60 razor-sharp serrated kitchen knives for teeth tough enough to dissect the full-grown buffalo and tear flesh in chunks. But it's how they catch their prey that's unsettling. It was believed that a Komodo's septic bite was potent enough to cause its victim to retire to a bacterial infection. But it turns out this modern-day dinosaur uses a toxic venom that it injects into its prey. This venom reduces the body's blood-clotting abilities and makes it more likely for you to bleed out once wounded. Other symptoms include lowering your blood pressure, shock, and muscle paralysis, and that last one's going to be real important later. The venom's so powerful that just one bite can be a death sentence for a tank like a water buffalo, which means Komodos don't have to waste energy trying to chase down a meal. All they have to do is critically wound their prey and then wait for them to die. And because these reptiles that time left behind are only found on remote islands, and they have a borderline disrespectful sense of smell, there's almost no point on the island you can go where this lizard Liam Neeson won't eventually track you down. And the reason paralysis being a symptom is such a problem is because Komodos won't exactly wait for their prey to be past tense. Just as long as they're too weak to fight back or run away. Because these lizards will eat their prey alive, with the only relief coming when you eventually flatline the blood loss. And even though venom's the main suspect, you can still get clapped by a slow, painful bacterial infection. The first response of animals like buffalo after they've been wounded is to escape into nearby water. Going into unclean water with an open wound is how you lose your life to a horrific case of sepsis. And again, your life doesn't have to end for his meal to begin. Not only have Komodo dragons been known to attack humans, they've been recorded seeking out human graves, digging out the corpses, and then feeding on whatever human remains they find. Nothing on this island is safe from a Komodo. Not even another Komodo. Because Komodo hatchlings will spend most of their childhood up in the trees. Why? Adult Komodos are cannibals that'll devour any young dragons they run into, even if it ends up being their own children. We're talking about a 10-foot venomous steroid chameleon that'll track you down no matter where you go and will friendly fire its own kind. And it's only the first animal on this list.
That's the main predator. The lion, it took the lion's
We talked about these winged bastards a couple of videos ago, so this is going to be a quick one. Now, plenty of birds eat other birds, but few are as sadistic about it as these overgrown ice vultures. Even though giant petrels are scavengers, they will target and jump weak or injured penguins, as well as snatch up any unaccompanied penguin chicks.
Alright, so y'all
just
know
like a
me,
lot of
I do
animals you're going to
not
see
fuck
on
with
this
birds,
list, giant petrels will eat their struggling prey alive in groups, and they have a nasty habit of breaking in through the back door. I can't show you, but there are videos of these prison pigeons pulling out the intestines of a penguin through its anus. All while the penguin was alive and fighting for his life and the sanctity of his booty. He lost both. And it's not just penguins that get victimized. Giant petrels will attack other seabirds like the albatross and put them out of commission by forcing them underwater until they drown. But nobody gets it worse than penguins. The giant petrel is so vicious that once one snatches a chick, its parents usually won't even bother trying to save its life. Meaning Happy Feet could have ended with Mumble getting brutally shot-shanked by a gang of flying booty bandits, all while his parents just sat and watched. And since a penguin's vital organs are protected by a layer of fat, penguins can take a lot of damage before permanently piecing out. Alternatively, penguins can suffer through hours of abuse before experiencing the sweet release of death. One researcher watched a gang of about 20 petrels tear apart a penguin that had already been mauled by a fur seal until there was nothing but a skeleton with feet attached. Don't think you're safe. The southern giant petrel has been nicknamed a stinker because they'll feed on any rotting, decaying carcass. To the point where these birds will tailgate boats and consume
it be somebody that look like that take your
Petrels
girl,
eat the same way they live, with no conscience. So if you're ever injured or incapacitated somewhere in the Antarctic, pray that help finds you before this bird does. You won't be a fan of how that movie ends.
Straight yaga that y'all. There you go, the hippo.
Punch it.
It'll end the same way if you're ever chased by a pack of African wild dogs. In a neighborhood with lions and hyenas, these dogs are actually the most efficient killers on the planet, with a hunting success rate of about 80%. These African bush cujos have a very complex and nuanced hunting strategy. They just keep running. These killer canines can run you down at speeds of nearly 40 miles per hour for a distance of over 3 miles, and in a sprint they can clock in at a blistering 45. All running away does is delay the inevitable. It's like hitting the snooze button on death. Once the prey gets chased into exhaustion, the dogs will clamp those jaws around the panic and snout and flank and force it to the ground. And for the third time on this list, they don't wait for you to stop breathing and start eating. And the bigger and stronger you are, the more you suffer. Because they're able to put down animals like warthogs in as little as 2 to 5 minutes. But tankier animals like the wildebeest can spend the last 40 minutes of its life being gruesomely mauled by a pack of about 15 merciless murder hounds.
Damn.
And once the entire pack has you surrounded, there's virtually zero escape.
Let's go.
And African wild dogs have the unsettling habit of starting meals off by tearing a hole in the abdomen and pulling the intestines out so they can get to the organs and fat first. To add insult to life-canceling injury, unlike lions, African wild dogs give puppies priority and let them eat first. So not only would you still get disemboweled, it would be the cutest members of the pack doing it first. Basically, imagine being chased by a gang of animals that never get tired, while knowing once they catch you, they'll confiscate your intestines and feed on your organs. All while you wait for the man upstairs to call your number. What could possibly be worse than that? Well...
Oh, poor little monkey. Spider monkey.
Hyenas are everything African wild dogs are, but on juice. And even though hyenas are genetically closer to cats and mongooses, hyenas basically behave like dogs on steroids. Thanks to Lion King, people believe hyenas were just cowardly scavengers that only survive by scrounging a living off of other animals. The truth is, not only do hyenas personally murk 70 to 80% of their meals, they're actually more efficient at it than lions are. And it's all because hyenas and African wild dogs have one very unsettling thing. They're both serial killers on Duracell, meaning the bastards never get tired. Spotted hyenas can run at high speeds for over 5 miles without even thinking about being tired. Which is why they don't have to ambush or one-shot their prey like lions. They'll just chase them into oblivion until one of them gives up. And hyenas don't give up. It doesn't help that hyenas have jaws strong enough to amputate a rhino. With a bite strength of about 1,000 pounds of force, hyenas are tough enough to eat virtually any part of an animal. They have such a habit of eating the bones of the deceased that their poop often comes out white. With a vice grip for a mouth and the eating habits of a coffin, if a clan of hyenas is your series finale, then the only thing your family will have left to bury are memories. Because once you're on this overgrown mongoose's meal prep, there won't be a lot of you left to put in the casket. And since there can be up to 80 members in a clan, and just one can take down 30 pounds of meat in one sitting, you would basically be a Ritz cracker to them. But if I'm being honest, the real reason hyenas are on this list is because of this video. And guys, y'all don't feel this one.
Yo! That's the balls!
Hyenas have a devious habit of going for the family honeypot, but it is for a reason. Hyenas don't have the ability to instantly end their prey the way big cats do. So for larger animals like the buffalo, it's way easier to perform a hands-free vasectomy and just wait for blood loss to do the work for you. Imagine a mousetrap on your baby factory, but with the force of an adult moose stepping on it. Yeah.
He said, imagine your mom. He said, imagine.
This next animal's probably going to be the most unexpected on this list, but let me paint a picture. Take a wolverine, right? Put it on creatine. give it the personality of a power tool, and then dub it in the same area code as some of the most vicious carnivores in the jungle. This face of generational trauma belongs to the sloth bear. Yes, the one from Jungle Book. Sloth bears may not look like much. They're easily dwarfed by some of the more brolic bears, one of which may be on this list. They're not even super notorious predators, as insectivores of sloth bear's grocery list is mostly ants and termites. But don't let the sloth in this name fool you. These furry chunks also know how to get active. Sloth bears share an environment with leopards and tigers.
Yo, I know somebody with teeth like that.
Which is why the sloth bear is one of the most aggressively homicidal bears out there. Even though they have a size disadvantage, a pissed off slothy has been known to drive off even the most motivated tiger. And sometimes these bears clutch a 2v1. And since sloth bears can escape in trees like American black bears, it's like nature told his dark skinned crew that violence was his only option. Years of character development means this demon yogi will view almost anything alive as a threat, and that includes humans. Sloth bear attacks are incredibly brutal. The same claws they use to destroy concrete like termite mounds can disembowel you with one swipe. And unlike grizzlies, because sloth bears do have to worry about predators, they're much more likely to attack unprovoked. According to first-hand accounts, sloth bears will often maul their victims and then chew and suck on their limbs until they're reduced to a bloody, mushy pulp. Sloth bears also typically go for the face, incapacitating their victims while biting and slashing to the point where neither your mother or your iPhone can recognize you. And of course, an animal that motivated usually won't stop until you're not moving. Which is why even in tiger country, more people get sent to the emergency room by the blues of the jungle. And if you're really unlucky, if one's able to sever a critical artery with those adamantium fingernails, then your series finale will involve you bleeding into the afterlife. One man was able to survive a particularly brutal mauling at the hands or paws of this bear. He recalled feeling immense pressure as the bear tackled him, put its full weight on him, and crushed his leg in its jaws like a celery stick. When the bear was put out of commission, the man thought he got off easy. Until he looked at his leg and realized the bear had torn an entire chunk of his flesh, to the point where he could see his muscles moving. And in rare cases, these bears have been known to stab pad. One infamous bear known as the Sloth Bear of Mysore had a human body count of at least 12 people, while having also severely mauled another dozen. So when I call this bear a box cutter with claws, I'm talking about both its personality and the way its victims tend to look after. But of course, it's not the only bear on this list. Because when you're one of the few animals that'll actively hunt humans, you're guaranteed a spot. Thanks to global warming, most of the polar bear's hunting range is now underwater. A desperate polar bear will even attempt to go after walruses, even though walruses can one-shot them with those tusks. But a starving bear will resort to putting humans on the list if they get the chance. Polar bear is like a maxed-out bloodhound. They can smell a seal from a mile away, and they can even track a scent through 3 feet of ice. Which is why it's been said, if you see this Caucasian carnivore in the wild, it's already too late. There's a good chance the bear's been hunting you for hours or even longer. This is Tim Jarvis, and during an expedition in the Arctic, he was allegedly stalked by a polar bear for a total of 10 days. Now add the fact that they can outswim every heat at the Olympics, and sprint fast enough to get a ticket in the school zone, and you'll see why getting on this ice killer's radar is a death sentence. Remember how African wild dogs tear into their prey while still alive? Bears are just triple XL dogs that are usually clamp their jaws on the prey's back to disable it. And the back is usually where they start eating from, with the intestines being one of the first things to get pulled out. Also, polar bears are estimated to have a bite force of about 1,200 pounds per square inch, believed to be strong enough to crack a bowling ball. And if one paw swipes your back, at best you'll be a paraplegic, at worst you'll be a hatchling. And at least sloth bears attack out of self-defense. When a polar bear puts someone on the news, you can be sure it was 100% premeditated. And the worst part of it all is that normally polar bears wouldn't see humans as happy meals. They prefer the fat, nutrient-rich seal. But because of what we've done to their hood, now polar bear doesn't even need to see you or hear you. If you're a mile downwind of a starving polar bear, that could really be all it takes. Remember the rule of thumb: if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, best get on the ground. If it's white like the president, you finna be heaven sent. The African wilderness has some of the most vicious and violent predators on the planet. Some of them we've actually already talked about. So it says a lot that out of all of them, the one nicknamed Black Death is actually a vegetarian. The African Cape Buffalo erases about 200 names from the census each year. That's not counting the people that live but still get severely gored. They're also strong enough to ragdoll top tiers like lions, hyenas, and of course people. Those horns aren't just for intimidation. When a Cape buffalo charges, the hooked end of its horns can get caught under the skin and tear apart the flesh of a predator or a tourist that just doesn't know any better. Of course, at 1,300 pounds, they don't need horns to end you. They can easily just trample you into a chalk outline. But there's another thing about them that makes them not only a walking obituary, but earn them another nickname: the Widowmaker. Because one of the fastest ways to get a divorce is to tell your husband to go hunt a Cape buffalo, because then you'll probably go to bed single. And that's because this widowmaker is one of the most vengeful animals on Earth. A wounded Cape buffalo will often retreat and hide in tall grass and brush. Now, if the hunter has more than one brain cell, he'll usually just give up and leave the beast alone. But if you make the mistake of following the injured animal, then you run the risk of getting ambushed and knocked clear into the ground. And after hitting you, the Cape buffalo will just back up and wait for you to get back on your feet just so they can hit stick you again. They'll keep doing this until you just stop getting up. That's just what one can do. These guys can travel in hoods of up to 200. And these herds will often circle a possible threat, leaving no possibility for escape. And they'll just keep circling until one eventually sees an opening and attempts to impale you. And the same rules apply. If you're still moving, they're not finished. That kind of attitude is why lions cosplay as house cats when a herd of buffalo is involved. And why hunting once you come with a life insurance package. And out of the entire starting lineup known as the African Big Five, these murder cows are considered to be the biggest threat. But ironically, one of the most feared mammals on the entire continent isn't on this list.
Why he got his tongue out though?
Yeah, no such things here. Hippos are just waterproof horses with a sense of tell. Hippos put about 500 names in Twitter bios a year, and that number is probably higher. They're famous for choosing violence with anything in their territory, from antelope and crocodile, all the way to lions, humans, and literally everything else. Like if you have a pulse, they'll find a reason to hate you. In fact, the biggest threat to a hippo's way of life is very literally often another hippo. Because oftentimes when resources are low, bull hippos will see babies as competition and will turn the adorable infants into fish food. Here's a dark joke for you. Where did the baby hippo go after the baby shower? Everywhere. He went everywhere. Despite being the third heaviest thing on the planet with legs, hippos can run at speeds of 30 miles per hour. And they can outswim you, or technically outrun, because hippos don't swim, they literally run underwater. And I don't think that makes this video any better. But just like actress Tiana Trump, it's that mouth that makes him infamous. Bull hippos have tusks that can max out at 20 inches long, and they can slam their jaws at nearly 2,000 pounds of force. But if you've ever seen one eat a watermelon, you already knew that. Which is why the biggest mistake a croc can make is pull up to a hippo pool party, because it can end up getting turned into a purse. And the biggest mistake a person can make is getting too close. I hope this is photoshopped. Hippos are one of those animals that don't need a reason to turn you into a statistic. Hippos don't typically eat meat, but their attack style involves using that massive overbite and chewing a person into human applesauce. And it's the attacks in water that are the most brutal. Even if you survive, the toll for crossing hippo territory can cost an arm, a leg, multiple broken bones, and even a punctured lung or two. One tourist guide in Zimbabwe was allegedly swallowed by this land whale not once, but 3 times. And you want to know the worst thing about getting deep-throated by this obese demon donkey? Other than the smell. It's knowing that your options are to either stay inside and suffocate, or try to escape and end up negotiating your left arm in the process. As for the tourist guide, by the time he got out, he had suffered 38 bite wounds, including one so nasty it exposed his lungs and completely crushed his lungs. This man rescued an orphan baby hippo from a flood and raised him as his own. He even named it Humphrey and said it was like a son to him. Well, Humphrey ended up mauling and mutilating his foster father in the same river he was rescued from. That's honestly how most movies with hippos end. But at least hippos are so massive they're impossible to miss. The next animal is the size of a golf ball, but they turn 26 people into a very loaded story on CNN.
Well, Lilo done left the circle.
The blue ring octopus is a lot of things. Tiny, cute, and it's one of the most venomous things alive. It's armed with a neurotoxin called tetrodotoxin, and the lethal dose for a human could fit on the head of a pin. Plenty of animals are venomous in Australia, from the jellyfish right down to the peris. But there's one disturbing fact about blue ring octopus. The blue ring octopus is so small that most people don't even realize when they've been bitten. And because they're so small and cute, some people will put the octopus in their hands, not realizing they're putting their lives in the octopus's.
I thought you couldn't touch
because
it.
not only is tetrodotoxin 10,000 times more powerful than cyanide, the neurotoxin shuts down muscles by blocking sodium channels. This decision can lead to muscle paralysis, respiratory failure, cardiac arrest, and then a permanent rest. Which is why one of the smallest animals on this list can turn you into past tense in as little as 30 minutes. And remember, you don't feel when this blue ring Bundy bites you. Meaning you can hold it like this for 3 seconds and then flatline in the same hour. And if you're swimming while that paralysis hits, use your imagination. Oh, and there's no antidote. All medical professionals can do is hook you up to a respirator and manage your breathing just long enough to keep you alive. But with immediate medical attention, the chances of getting put in a casket by this blue ring hellspawn are actually pretty low. But with a bite that's impossible to feel, it's very possible to not realize you've been wounded. And without medical attention, the chance of your soul getting evicted suddenly becomes a lot higher. Which means this lady just barely Eurostep becoming a name on a stone in one of the worst ways possible. Because anything that tries this hard to be seen is probably more toxic than future. That goes for octopus and people. This last one deserves its own viewer discretion warning because in some ways it's the most disturbing animal on this list. Not only does it have the highest human body count, you can be a victim and not even realize it. That's because it's believed that over 1 billion people in the world are infected with parasitic worms. They're especially a problem in places with limited access to clean drinking water. But don't think this is just some third world problem. All you have to do is swim in waters containing eggs and you can lose the lottery and become a landlord to these parasites. Once inside you, these worms can cause a bunch of nasty infections and complications, but there's one disease that really stands out. These demonic flesh ropes are filarial worms, and they're as thin as sewing threads. And their favorite hangout spot is in your lymph nodes, where a bunch of them can block fluids from leaving the body, which can cause tissues in the body to swell almost like a disturbing cartoon. Which is how a worm you need a microscope to see can cause a nightmarish condition known as elephantiasis. The situation where your leg can swell to the same size and color as an elephant's. And it doesn't just give you Dumbo-sized cankles. All guidelines will allow me to say is Google South Park wheelbarrow. Get infected with filarials and you might need one. But the unsettling part is you may never know you've been violated by filarials until it's too late. Millions of people around the world are infected and a lot of them have no idea. Which means, of course, statistically, someone watching this video. If it makes you feel any better, if you live in America, you apparently can't get infected with filarial worms. But you're not safe from the hundreds of other parasites that could turn your insides into an Airbnb. Around the world, hundreds of millions of people are infected with parasitic worms as we speak. And if you happen to be asymptomatic, they can put a whole mortgage down on your body and you would be the last to know. And that's just about it for this video. If you actually enjoyed this video, first of all, you're a psychopath. But also my Patreon's going to be in the description in case you want to support this very questionable content. In fact, you could have watched this video 2 days before I posted it on Patreon. But as always, please don't feel like you have to send money in order to show support. Please feel like you have to subscribe though. I'm not playing with y'all. Subscribe or I'm just gonna assume you like worms. Also follow my Instagram. If for no other reason but to help me get verified. There's videos on there too, but honestly I just want that blue check.
Follow him on Instagram, you feel me? Like,
Halloween,
yo,
drink water,
help each other out.
And have a nice day. Even though I probably just ruined it.
Probably ruined some 5-year-old day. Who just want to learn about some animals who just ruined his career.
I can't pause it. Alright. We live. What you think, bro?
All I gotta say, the last one was very, I didn't even know that. That's all I gotta say. And plus, especially the octopus one, I definitely didn't want to know that one.
The octopus?
Like, it was in the man's hand. Like, it was sticking to his hand.
Did he die?
He probably did die.
Right? They said you can't touch it, right?
You're not supposed to touch it. If it got spots like that, don't touch it. Simply.
So, out of all the animals we saw, bro, which one are you most scared of?
That hippo.
The hippo? The hippo got it? Not the buffalo?
Nah.
Not the buffalo?
That's nothing.
The buffalo making breakfast out of the lion?
Nah, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
The hippo can run underwater, and it's mad fat, and it can run on land and water. That don't make sense to me. Nothing that don't make sense to me ain't gonna work with me. I'm good.
I like that. Nothing that don't make sense to him ain't gonna work for him.
It wasn't even swimming in the water. It was running underwater. That's how you know. That's something. That's something I didn't want to know. I ain't need to know. Especially the things about the penguins. They get hunted down just by a bird.
Yeah, that terrified me.
That was tough.
I don't fuck with birds. You feel me? I ain't got to worry about that type of bird because there's two things I don't fuck with: the bird and the cold. And that bird was in the cold. You feel me? So like, nah, I ain't got to worry about that. You feel me? I ain't going. They're like, hey yo. Party in Alaska. I ain't missed me with that, bro. I ain't going to that. Yo, but for real, guys, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys could bear with my family. You feel me? I love these guys. My nephews right here. You feel me? Lilo finally came back. Yo, little man he started in the video and then went to go play with the kittens and stuff like that. You feel me, Lilo? You want to say something to the people?
First, I'm going to tell you something.
You're adopted.
Do you have any cats? Give me your cats if you don't like them.
Yeah, if you got any cats, my man Lilo looking for all cats. Bring all cats to Lilo. He's looking for them, right?
Baby cats and
speaking of cats, I'm old enough to get some cat.
Baby cats and
all right. With that being said, we're gonna go end the video right here because the video.
Like this video, and subscribe to my channel and my cousins, and my brother.
Cousin? I'm not your damn cousin.
Uncle. It's Unc.
It's cousin too.
It's Unc.
He called me cousin because I'm cool, but I'm his uncle. Yeah, but come on, say it again. Let him know. Do what?
Subscribe, like the video, subscribe on Instagram. Know the
And
vibes.
go to YouTube and watch our channel. Also, you can go on.
Instagram.
Also, you can go to New York City
Yo.
or his place, or you can come to his secret base.
My secret base. All right, cool. All right. Well, that was Lilo. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. I'm going to leave my little nephew's Instagram too. Follow that, please. Come on, get involved, y'all. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.